And at this time, I'd like to invite you all to join me in welcoming our board president, Staci Cross, to the platform.
Thank you, Brandon. Good morning, friends. And I want to wish all the mamas happy Mother's Day. So this is the fun part. I get to tell you about some fun stuff we're going to be doing. And I'll just start with, over the last 2 to 3 months, the board has held many gatherings to hear what's on your mind and what's stirring in your soul. We had a couple of board receptions with volunteer leaders, key donors. We had a community potluck back in April, and then we had 12 conscious conversations throughout the building, where we've asked for your suggestions, your input, your ideas, your opinions, and your vision of what you hope to see with this community and how we want to grow, how you want this ministry to serve your spiritual development, and what your highest visions for this church are. So I want to thank everyone who came to the potluck. It was very successful, and we had a lot of great ideas. And I want to thank all those who participated in the conscious conversations. There was just a lot of great energy and passion about this community. And especially I want to thank the facilitators who helped make these conversations fun and productive. It was a little bit of extra work on their part, and it was just wonderful. They did a fabulous job. So these last couple of months was a real collaborative, community-wide experience, and it really showed us a lot. And so we have a lot to work with. The board has spent countless hours listening, reviewing, and categorizing hundreds of responses and input. We did an exercise recently, about a week ago, some of the board members, with about 8 to 10 flip charts across the walls. We used a couple of walls, and we really identified your responses to find out what the predominant areas are that you wanted to see implemented. And I'd like to share those with you today. Please know and understand that this cannot be done with the ministers and the staff alone, and to help implement and initiate these activities. But we are encouraging you to be empowered to contribute where you feel resonates with what yours is to do. So as we did our analysis, we began to see patterns and repetitions that we put into 4 categories. And these are in the areas of culture, community activities, spiritual development, and ministry. And so I'm going to talk about these one by one. In regards to culture, we already have a strong unity culture based on unity principles, on prayer, our core values of love, abundance, joy, inclusiveness, and spirit-led, our strong vision and mission statements. But what we heard loud and clear from you is that you are calling for a more social culture that would include greater connections throughout our community, especially with a little bit more focus on youth and family activities, as well as the development of a multifaceted ministry of small groups. You also said you wanted ongoing communication and transparency from the board and the ministers. So that really speaks to kind of summarizing the culture that is being called forward. The next area that came up frequently is around community activities. If there was one thing that we heard 10 times over everything else, is that you all are looking for more ways to do community outreach. And we heard those 2 words over and over, but the funny thing is that we didn't get a whole lot of specifics, with the exception of some great input from the potluck, which we definitely want to start putting into action. So this is an area that we all want you to come forward and help initiate some specific new areas of community service and outreach for this church. And the great thing is that you're going to hear more about this next week when Cindy Swall comes to speak with us and really give us an idea of how we can move from me to we and work together and implement some of these great ideas that we do have. We are determined to get some of these ideas off the ground soon. And then another area of community activities, again, is the small group that was mentioned repeatedly. So small group is an activity or an action plan that we're going to be moving into. Some other wonderful ideas that just were going to be a lot of fun are concerts. A lot of calls for more concerts, church picnics, family nights at the church, and even parking lot carnivals and pet blessings that are open to the public to get people into our parking lot and onto our campus. Okay, and then the other category of input we received was in the area of spiritual development. And there were just a lot of great ideas here. Most of them pertain to a multitude of wonderful classes that you had, some suggestions. And in fact, we had over 40 class suggestions. But the majority of classes pertain to several topics like the metaphysical teachings of the Bible, classes on unity-based parenting and marriage, manifesting health and wellness topics, classes on Jesus and unity, and even gardening and finance. So again, this is an area that we will not be relying on just our ministers and our licensed teachers to carry on. There's just a lot of energy, again, here in this area for more spiritual development with these classes. So if there is something that is stirring in you, or you have a strong passion or a lot of knowledge and skill in a certain area, and you want to step forward and lead a group or lead a class, then we're open to hearing about that as long as it aligns with our core values. And the final area of input revolved around the ministry of UCOP. To summarize, we heard that you are visioning our next lead minister to be dedicated to carrying out our vision of community, a strong community. And so, what we're doing is we're really creating that strong base of community, and we're calling forward that perfect minister to step into that, to this, everything that we've got going on. And that's what we heard from you. Also, a minister that will foster strong growth for this congregation and for greater spiritual development. Another aspect of ministry, there was a lot of requests for more opportunities for deeper spiritual experiences. So maybe a special service once a month or something where we, go deeper, or maybe some other teachings that would help us all go deeper as well. And then finally, a lot of you really wanted us to try to do more advertising throughout Kansas City in print, magazines, radio, even billboards. Social media is a big one, to let more people throughout the whole region, especially young families who may not have a church, know about our powerfully positive community and the path that this church provides for unlimited living. And so there's just a lot, there were just 20 plus hash marks for advertising. Everyone, this is an area that I feel passionate about expanding as well. So I could go on and on, but these are going to be the areas that we're going to focus on that I mentioned today. And again, please come next Sunday to hear Cindy Swall speak about the impact that you can have in building what we are visioning together. And while I'm up here, I wanted to inform you that we, on the minister search process, we have received one application and one resume for the lead minister position. At this point, our plan is to keep the application process open until August 1st, until we decide to narrow down the field and begin interviewing. And then at that point, we don't know how many candidates we're going to get, because this is, a new year. And at that point, then we will bring in our top 2 to 4 candidates for you all to get to know them as well. So August 1st is just a date. It is just a date, and we will assess at that time if we want to keep the application open, or to, longer to receive more applications, or to close it because we received enough qualified applicants or candidates. So we're just very open to how and when this process is unfolding, and I wanted to give you an update on that.